Good.
So we are here to. We are like my name is like Domenico. I guess like if you are following me, like you already know who I am. And he's Andreas.
I'm Gnutzi on Instagram. This is the platform.
We are doing great by Coder. Thank you very much for asking. The live is about roadmap planning in software development, and the second topic we are going to talk is salary negotiation for software developer. How you can negotiate your salary, what you can ask instead of only money. We will go through that process. So I'm a software developer. He's a CTO. So it's like we have like both background, but you were like a developer too. So
luckily we're not going to negotiate your salary today.
No, because it would be very low.
Yeah, I'll be like,
yeah.
No. Whatever you say, I'm like, no.
That's this. Can you hear us well? Say yes or no if you can hear us well, just to be sure that everything is fine on your side. Let's see the first one.
Yeah!
Yay!
All right.
Man word. Hi, Dimek.
Emek.
It's like we are waiting for your questions.
Now the questions can come later.
Yeah.
Why don't we start talking instead?
Yes. So let's start. The first topic of the day is, Andreas, let's talk about roadmap planning.
Yes.
So it's like, as a CTO, so as a tech lead, what is like roadmap planning? Let's explain first.
Okay, so I guess roadmap planning, in my opinion, and I come from sort of a product management background, so I love this topic a lot, but in my opinion, still one of the most important responsibilities.
There's John Frederick.
As
we are in your
CTO.
office.
Hello, John.
Hey, John, we are in your office.
So I think it's one of the most important responsibilities as either a CTO or a product manager. And roadmap planning is essentially carving out the next years. It could be the next year, it could be the next 2 years, 3 years, up to something as long as 10 years.
Okay.
For where do you want to take your products in the future?
So, but this is like different from feature planning, like in software development. How do you divide what you want to build, like in quarters or in years? It's like, what's your process to decide what goes in?
Okay, so in my world, they are quite connected in a way.
Yeah.
And they could be two different words for the same thing, but I think roadmap planning is more about the strategy.
Yeah.
So and it should be aligned with your company vision. So where does your company want to be in 5 years? You need to create a roadmap that shows how you are going to get there.
Okay.
And of course, that is one of the most important jobs as a CTO, is to ensure that the company vision, even if you're not a tech company, that you are building the technology that helps your company get there. And I mean, in these days, every company sort of is a tech company. So you used to be that a CTO in a company that makes shoes, for example, was only taking care of internal IT.
Yeah.
But now he needs to think about big data and AI and e-commerce. And so even though you're not building products as a CTO, you need to worry about your roadmap for your tech.
Yes. So, and the other question that I have for you, because you have experience, like you are doing like this work, you were doing like product management before.
Yeah.
Now you are a CTO, so it's like you are well, you know very well this kind of like job.
Yeah.
What's like the most difficult part on roadmap planning, and like also for not only for you but also for the software team?
So most difficult part, I think, is that roadmaps always change. because technology changes, your company changes, your unforeseen circumstances, and especially if you're doing innovation, in your software, you're trying to build something that the customers don't even know they want. You usually spend more time once you start implementing.
Okay.
So to me, that's sort of that's the hardest part, is because you want to communicate your roadmap to everyone, which means you are telling everyone where you want to be in a few years, and then you might have to change it.
Okay, but this is like the vision of the entire company, right?
Exactly.
So it's like you need to talk about this roadmap to the marketing team, to the sales, because they have to sell. Sorry, I had my brother calling me. That was not planned.
Yeah.
Yes. So we were talking like, so you have this roadmap plan, and you need to talk about this roadmap with your marketing team, with your sales team.
Yeah.
Because they need to sell the platform. If you are building, for example, on a platform,
yeah.
so they need to understand what will be available like 1 year from now. But what happened? What happened if like 1 year from now you decide to change the roadmap planning?
Yeah.
Like how do you
Communication. Exactly. So first of all, who are your stakeholders here? And you're talking about the marketing team, but we also communicate our roadmap out to our partners that are sort of like Microsoft partners. They're the resellers, they're the product experts that go out and meet the customers. And of course they will use that information in communication with customers.
Yeah. Okay.
So I mean, when you're talking about stakeholders in the marketing team, they should be a part of building the roadmap. So they will probably be informed, but it gets harder once it's further out.
Yes.
So you need to, I guess, keep that presentation of the changes constant.
Okay.
The other things I want to say about stakeholders, and now we're coming into how to build a roadmap, which I think is something we should address today. And that is that as a developer, I mean, I come from a one-man team, like a one-man CTO startup thing.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, I know what to do. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start coding it right now.
Yeah, sounds familiar for every developer.
Exactly. But once your company starts growing, and I think someone's asking about a startup here as well, so that's very relevant.
Yeah.
Once you start growing, you're going to have to start involving people in your roadmap planning.
Yeah.
So first of all, of course, you probably have in a startup, you would have sort of a visionary CEO usually.
Yeah.
And you would be working on the plans together. But then you might be in a position you have developers below you.
Yeah.
And you have a management above you. And then you have sort of peer management like marketing managers and sales managers around you. And they might all have a say in the roadmap. Sales team might say they have sales blockers. You know, oh yeah, the customers wanted X, but we didn't have Y, so it's blocking the sale. Marketing, they might want to improve the lead generation, especially if you have like a SaaS product.
Yeah.
And then the developers, they'll come back and say, oh, there's no way we can build this in 6 months.
No.
So and then you of course you can say, and then you can take that back to management and say, oh, we need more people, or you can limit scope. So you have basically 3 factors that you have to worry about as well. It's time, it's resources, or it's scope.
Yeah.
So where do you want to sacrifice? If you can't meet your goals, do you want to sacrifice on the scope, so reduce the amount of features? Do you want to sacrifice on the resources by not employing more people?
And that depends also from the budget of the company.
Exactly. Are you set up for growth or not? Do you reinvest in keep increasing or not? And then final one is time. So okay, maybe it'll take longer than. So with these three factors in mind, you need to manage all your stakeholders. And I think as a minimum, who should be involved in the roadmap planning part is first of all, of course, your CEO. Secondly, a representative from sales, which might or might not include marketing. Third of all, if you have any product management on your team, of course they need to be involved. And then the people are actually going to do the job, so the developers and anyone else involved in that process. So, and again, depending on your scale, you need to kind of see, because are you going to be dealing with individuals or are you going to be dealing with team leaders? Because you cannot communicate with a lot of people.
No.
Like you cannot bring in 20 people to roadmap planning, but you need to limit that group, but have representatives from those parts of the company. Because the sales is, of course, you need to drive revenue in the company. Product management, they should be the ones that are talking to the customers and know their needs, and they should also be managing
support people.
Support people is that's kind of not usually that important in the roadmap planning.
No,
because you should already have a system to handle critical support incidents.
Okay, so you need anyway a way to. Well, it's like if you are in a startup, maybe it's like you don't have like the support system to get all the feedback back. Maybe like your company is like a bit more advanced. It's like it's 20 years old company, so it's like you learn all this.
Still, your support team should have a way to get be able to report bugs to the development and for development to fix them and communicate that back to the customers.
Yeah.
That's essential and it's not a part of the roadmap.
Yeah. And
now it might affect your roadmap because if you make a lot of bugs, you're going to shift your roadmap back because you have too much technical debt.
Yeah.
But that's a different thing.
Yes. And usually when you are one man person, CEO, CTO support, you go like in your app review and says like, oh, this app is shit. It's like, it doesn't do this, and then it's like kind of the same, but it's like more scalable. You need a more scalable system.
And it's all in your head until you go mental. Yeah.
And then you start like to implement all the features that the customer tell you.
Yeah.
Instead of like when you grow, you just need to a bit more planning on that side. Should we check like one question first?
Yeah, we can do some questions.
There was this: how do you deal with new technology coming in if you plan it for 5 years in the future?
Okay, and then we're coming back to changes, right? And that's not only about new technology, but it's like suddenly a customer saying like, yeah, you know, this product is really good, but we cannot use it until you have this guy.
Yeah.
You know? And suddenly, so any noise you get into sort of your development team that's not a part of the roadmap will delay your roadmap. End of story.
Yeah.
So everything you say yes to will affect your roadmap. So and that's coming back to okay. What do you want to do then? You want to keep delaying it. If you have time, that's fine. You change the roadmap, you move it ahead. Do you want to add more resources? Can you afford it? Okay, you do that. Or can you simply say no? You know? Okay, you know, thank you, customer. That's good feedback, but you are not in our targets.
No, yeah.
And the faster you want to sort of get to where you want to be in the future, the more you're going to have to say no to the ones that aren't the target of your future. And that noise is incredibly difficult to deal with because it's so hard to say no to that one, that big sale that where you're just missing that little thing if it's doesn't fit with your strategic roadmap.
Yes.
So shifting technology is the same thing, but you can sometimes use it for your advantage. If you have a 5-year plan, you're most likely going to run into scenarios where your technical challenges have been solved in the meantime. And we're seeing this a lot with everything that's happening in technology these days. Like you're getting so many toolkits. Someone asked you 3 years ago, oh, we need to do some AI on this data set, and you were like, oh, AI, we didn't really hire any AI experts, we don't have that in our budgets. And then suddenly now that service is probably available as a consumable service in the cloud.
Yeah.
So again, things change and roadmaps change. You have to accept that.
Yeah.
And with the technology changes, you just have to embrace it. Usually I've found that the technology changes work to our advantage.
But okay, let's take, so this is like works also with technology. Like if you have an old technology, like using, I don't know, jQuery and different end, if a developer comes to you and says like, oh, we want to use React, or we want to use Vue, or we want to use Angular, you need always to evaluate, is this the right time to re-implement everything? Also because like the things are working, I see the value, maybe it's like, maybe we should wait for that. Again
and again, you need to come back to your roadmap and the three the kind of the triangle of sort of acceptance. So first of all, we have a roadmap and we have some goals. How is this new technology like React going to help us reach those goals? So is it going to reduce our time to get there? Is it going to let us increase the resources, or actually make more out of the resources we have? Is it going to give us more functionality that we need to get to the goal?
That's totally true. So it's like it's very important as a developer. We always want to use the last technology, but then it's like when from the management comes and at least that's there is like a big planning for if you are already in a well-established company to where you want to go. So it's like sometimes the know is well thought before. You have a new questions like, yeah, I totally get that. How is your experience with tech radars and spending time in research about new technology, and if it's worth to try them out?
Prototypes are gold.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think we had already a discussion today, like some companies, especially if they're set up for innovation, they set aside some time, for example, once a week or once a month to do do whatever you want, like a hackathon or do your side project. And those things can be very useful for experimenting with new things.
Yes.
What I've done in the past is, if someone wants to introduce new technology, I leave the challenge back to them, and I'm like, well, prove it. Show me that it works. And they might even get some time set aside to build a prototype.
Yes.
And what you're asking, yeah, totally. You can't just say, yeah, let's use React without trying it out.
No.
You need to spend the time, the investment. You need to invest in time to figure out whether it's worth it or not.
No. But she continues saying like that would be awesome. Not a lot of companies are doing this, sadly, and that's
so true.
That is so true. And actually, it's like my experience. Like I work for some company where every second Friday you could have like the entire day to work on a project. Of course, that was going to bring value to the company. So it's like you were presenting in the morning, and it's like at the end of the day you had to present what you accomplish. Like could be like just use React or just create like some AI bot for the companies, whatever is the technology. You have to show that has value. So you cannot just work on whatever you want. It's like you have to explain why. But that was like a very good way to attract new developers to the company, because when you had them during the interview and you were saying that it's like, okay, you can work every second Friday on this kind of technology, that was like a very good way to attract them.
Mm.
Because like sometimes like you cannot compete on salary, but you can give like different things to developers to attract them to your company. And that is like is very appealing for developers, because we want to always work with new technology, and that's just like, okay, you have complete freedom, you can do it, and now it's up to you to show that that technology is good. But it's true, like not many companies do it. They don't see the value in that, and it's wrong. But I guess like you just finished a hackathon today.
Yeah, we did a hackathon today. I mean, I'm thinking like we don't do it that regularly, but I'm kind of thinking it's a good idea. Now that would put it systematically. Now we don't do it systematically. We still spend a lot of time on experimenting, but it's really valuable. And did you know, actually, I think everyone knows that Google sort of in the tech world, they invented the Friday pet project day. But did you know that the company 3M that makes, they're the company that makes everything. They're Acme. They make everything from paint to like, I don't know, rubber, everything. And the reason is that they actually, if someone has an idea, they in that are employed in the company, they fund it. They say, yeah, okay, you have an idea, we'll fund it. So you're still working for 3M, but you get a stake in the product.
Yeah.
So you have your kind of your sort of an internal incubator, which is a really cool model, I think.
Yeah. They asking like, where are you located, guys? We are in Oslo, Norway. So
but
we are like in the office of Photoware, like that is like a CTO Photoware.
We're hiring.
They are hiring developers, so and tech lead also. It's like if any of you is like a tech lead also, it's like they are hiring. So. Andrea Nuzzi on Instagram.
Get in touch. I'm actually located in Sydney, Australia.
Yeah.
So I'm a remote CTO. So if you want to be a developer that where your CTO isn't watching you every day, definitely the place to go.
Do you need iOS developers?
Just get in touch. We'll see what we can do.
Yes. Yeah. So you see. Is very friendly. What else is like about...
We're kind of off topic, aren't we?
Yeah, we are a bit off topic. The topic was roadmap planning, not hiring now.
I guess we could go back to... one thing I want to say about roadmaps is that if you work in a company that doesn't have a company vision, building a roadmap is going to be really tough.
Okay, but what's let's take the example of your company, because you're a CTO. It's like, what's the vision of your company?
So our vision is to drive pioneering innovation to bring stories to life.
Okay. What does it mean?
And I guess what it means in our mission statement, we have told what that means for us now, which is to empower companies and people to do more with their content.
Yes.
So, and what we do digital asset management. I'm not going to pitch us too much, but basically, we make software that helps the people manage visual media. And once we have defined that, it's like, it's so easy to make roadmap choices. It's like, okay, how can we actually make people do more with their content? And then you, as a CTO responsible for the roadmap, you can start saying, okay, where are we now? And where do we need to be in the future? And how are we going to implement that? So it starts from the top.
Yeah.
But then it doesn't go down.
Yes.
That's the interesting part. It starts from the top with the company vision. But you can't just say, all right, then I'm the CTO, I'm the expert of technology, so here's what we're going to do tomorrow, developers.
No.
Then you go down and you say, well, here's some ideas. What do you guys think about that? Because you might, as a CTO, you might be a little bit architect, but you're not the guy that's going to do it day to day.
No.
So you're going to have to start getting expert opinions. We can do that, we can't do that, it's going to take so much time.
Yes.
And then you can start thinking, okay, maybe we can't do it. Okay, maybe we need to hire. Maybe we need to buy something.
Yes. So
Right?
it's a bit back and forth.
Exactly.
After there is the vision.
So don't be that guy if you're a CTO. Don't be that guy that goes and like, oh yeah, I know how to do this because I was a one-man CTO one time.
Yeah. So I know everything. I know how to implement it, and everyone else need to implement the architecture that I just made, all this feature, because that is the right way.
Yeah.
That is the wrong way. You just like you discuss with your team. You get the right ideas from bottom to up to management. You discuss, and you see what's the right feature to implement. So it's like it's a lot of communication. Communication always win.
Yeah.
Don't be the bottleneck, even if you are a developer or if you are a CTO or a tech lead. So
and now we've been mentioning features quite a lot, and I think you asked me in the beginning, and I didn't really answer your question there either. But what's a feature up in all of this, really? So it's I guess about Scrum Nazis will probably be worried about user stories and all that. Okay, but what we're talking about with features is what functionality are we going to add to the product, right? That enriches the user experience, and what value you are delivering to your customers in the end. But roadmap planning isn't just about that, really. It's about what technology foundation do you have to create to get to being able to implement those features. So, okay, are we going to scale from 1 million to 100 million users? How is that going to affect our platform? Not just about features. And again, scaling, you need to worry about making it easy to add new functionality. You need to go from something monolithic to something that's modular and easy to extend.
Yes.
So yeah, feature requests and dealing with that and dealing with those things is definitely a part of it. But that's more of a how are you going to implement your roadmap, not as much as planning the roadmap on its own.
Yeah, because like if you don't have like a roadmap planning with all this feature that is like match the vision, you will finish to just like focus on a small detail that really doesn't bring so much value to your company. For you, like as a developer, maybe it looks like, oh, I just create this exciting new feature, but then it's like maybe you could have spent the time building 4 other features that is like they are bringing like more money, more customer, whatever, like more, and that helps the company to grow.
Exactly. And if you have like say you have a 6-month feature to take something out of there, add an analytics platform to your product.
Yeah.
You only have 6 months, so we set time constraint here. You should have something that your customers can use after 3 months, because you need to set aside 3 more months to improve based on customer feedback.
Yes.
And the more you delay that process, the more you're going to build features that aren't relevant for the customer.
Yes.
Because you're going to build features that are relevant for the developer. So you'll have awesome logging.
Yeah.
Really awesome logging. Exception handling will be mint. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. But it's and nobody will care.
Your code will be refactored, perfect. And it will be built in Clojure or whatever, I don't know what's cool anymore.
Yeah, and if you have the idea that it's like rebuilding your system from scratch will be a good idea. Think that like 4 times, because like it will never be a good idea, because like you create like just exact the same bugs with just more beautiful code.
Different bugs.
Or different bugs. It's like or both.
Kill one bug to create 2 new ones. Yeah.
So it's like
starting the camera. That means we're talking too much.
Yes, that was.
How are we gonna make that into a 10-minute podcast?
I don't think. I don't think it's like our 10 minutes podcast will be like 40 minutes podcast.
Yeah.
But it's like people will think it's 10 minutes and will listen, but then it will be like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
We just trick them in our podcast that is, then people will know, people will talk, and then nobody will listen us.
Yeah.
Who cares? We just talk us. and we will have fun. So the second topic, I think is very interesting. If you have a question about the roadmap planning, just leave it the question down. That would be like super useful to answer any question you have. The second topic, let's talk about salary negotiation for software developer.
Yeah, and this I have to say I'm a bit nervous about this one. I still hate salary negotiations, both as an employee and
yeah, but because now you as a CTO, you get people coming to you and says like, I want that more money. If not, I leave the company, or another company just offer me like so much more money, and I'm happy here, but it's like I need more money because, like, of course, like everyone has expenses. Like maybe you want a bigger house, and maybe you want a better car, or whatever you want. That you have like your motivation to ask for more money. I think that's right if it's valuable, and if you are a good person and you work hard and it's like you have talent in what you do, I think it's valuable. But I think the point the developer needs to understand is sometimes like asking just for money is not always the best way to go in a salary negotiation, because like there are like so many other factors that is like they could tell you no, and you could ask like so many other things that could be really valuable for your career. And one thing is like, I think is like me as a developer is like freedom, because like I have a family, and like having possibility to leave like job earlier, or working is like in different hours that is like they are not completely like 9 to 5. For me that is super valuable. Another thing is like it's training, going to conference, going to workshop, paid maybe, and it's like because then you get this knowledge and will be part of your career. That is like if you change company in 2 years, these are all things that you can put in your CV, and that will bring you even more money. And one thing that I want to say is like usually like when you stay in a company, usually like the stepping of salary, they are very small. If you really want to have like much more money, you move between companies, right?
Yeah.
Because like then it's like you move from company A to company B, and you bring the experience that you had like in the previous company, and that's why they pay you much more. And the same is like when you jump, but the jump brings risk, because like you go in new environment. Maybe you like it so much to work with the people in company A, and the company B, everyone is. You don't fit in the environment, and that's just like it's a risk. So it's like when you leave something that you know for something that you don't know, it's just like there is always that crucial risk that you need to be careful. So it's like don't think only about money, think about all the perspective, all the side.
Well, I think, I mean, I'm going to be honest, and like you really have to consider just set the baseline expectation, like how important is money for you, and even put that on sort of a list of priorities, because it's easy to say, oh yeah, you know, money is important, and I think money is important to everyone. But if you say, you know, will you put your life, you know, will you live in complete misery for money, everyone's going to say no. And then there is all, like, reality is somewhere in between, right? And someone's saying here, freedom for me is crucial. Yeah, there's a lot of companies that can offer that. So if I'm stepping out of my CTO and sort of into my developer again, figure out where you want to be. Because seriously, like, if a developer comes to me and like, I just got an offer from a bank and they offer me so much more, I'm never going to be able to compete because we're not the bank.
Yeah.
So if you want to work in finance, and then by that time, I'm pretty sure that there's nothing we can do anyway. But you might want to work in a bank because the pay is good. You might think that, yeah, technology is cool, so...
Maybe you like the job also, so it's like...
exactly.
Maybe you are lucky and you are like in a job where they pay a lot. And everyone that asks for a raise they get even more money, and it's just like you're lucky. Not every job, also in
No.
software development, is.
And I'm never gonna discredit money like as one of the factors people use when they choose a job. And we as a sort of a startup sized company, if I don't pay competitive salary, I'm gonna miss out on the good people.
Yeah.
That's just fact of life. That's the way it is. You should be getting a fair salary, but you need to look at not only the other perks that the company offers, because there's a lot of things they can do. They can do like you can be getting extra retirement fund saving, you can be getting free phone, internet, lunch. Where is your office location? Maybe you can take a bike to work. You don't have to pay a lot for the commute.
Or you can work remote.
Maybe you can work remote. Maybe they give you a lot of freedom in that, freedom in time, freedom in responsibilities, and lots of other factors. Like, do they let you pick your kids up from childcare? Are they flexible? How's the company set up? Are you going to have to work a lot of late nights and weekends and holidays because you have deadlines on projects?
Yeah.
Is it poorly set up so you're dealing with ops issues in the middle of the night? So many factors, and so you can't just consider pay when you're thinking about the perks and sort of what the company offers. But having said that, again, you get paid for value, right?
Yes.
That's why they hire you. So if you want to get better pay, this is probably the single most valuable advice I'm going to give today. If you want to get paid more, focus on delivering value.
Yes.
Don't even worry about the salary negotiations when you get hired that much, because that's going to either you want the job or you don't want the job, and if they want you, they will probably give you a salary that you are happy with.
Yes.
But if you keep nagging every year, I need more pay, you have to be able to show something on the table, and this is serious. Like, why should I pay you more? What have you done this year that added value to the company it means that our customers get more value, which means that we can increase our revenue on those customers. That's what it boils down to. It's business. And if you're just a guy that keeps nagging for money without providing any value, you find yourself, first of all, you're not going to be heard. You're not going to get the raises that you want, and that's going to make you miserable, and then you're going to start looking for other jobs.
Yes. And then you will just accept like the jobs that give you even more money, and then maybe you will not be happy because it's like maybe you don't fit that environment. Maybe yes.
Or maybe you will.
Maybe you are lucky, but still there is a big risk, because maybe you really like to work on the other company and you just nagging for more money. It's not great on the other side. So it's like when you go in the salary negotiation, you should also think like from the other side of the table, why maybe they don't have the budget. Of course, if you know this is like by chance, it's like you know how much the other developers at your level are earning and you are really like underpaid, of course that's like you can have that discussion like why I'm underpaid compared to the others. I think that is a discussion, but usually that is like an exception, and it's very difficult that people talk about their own salaries. I saw that's like it's quite difficult that maybe developers talks about their own salaries in the company, and sometimes like brings like a bit jealousy, and it's not a very good things to do, because like you should not compare yourself to the guy sitting close to you, but it's like probably to the market, and as Andreas say, like to the value that you are bringing to a company.
Exactly.
So it's like if you are bringing so much value, you should not be underpaid, and then you need to have like a serious discussion on that.
And maybe okay, maybe look into yourself and see if you find the knowledge that you're not being paid as much as your peer, then maybe take some time to reflect before you throw it to management.
Yes.
Are they more valuable than me, or is it not fair?
No.
And if you come to the conclusion it's not fair, I think you should bring it up. Don't sit on it. Don't. I mean, that's just going to pile up, and then you will quit. You will lose motivation.
Absolutely. If you don't ask, they cannot answer you. So it's like if you have a doubt, always ask to the management the why you are underpaid. But I think it's like I think you gave like the biggest advice. Like still, like if you are like a senior or you are like a junior developer,
goes to all level. Like if you're new,
you just focus on bringing value to the company and to the day-to-day and how you can improve the company, because then it's like that, and document everything you do.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's easy that it's like you go in the early negotiation for salary or 360 performance review like many companies they have, and you try to remember everything you did during the years, and you will miss so many things, so many discussions you had, so many good ideas. So it's like a good things that I do is like every time I do an achievement or I finish a project or some of the ideas are got implemented, I just document it in a spreadsheet in a Google Docs for me, just like then I can have like something to discuss about. Hey, look, during this year, these are all the things that I brought. This is how I help the team, because it's like it's not only code. It's like how you share your knowledge with the team, how you push your knowledge outside the company. Maybe you attract new developer, or maybe you are really engaged with developer community outside, and that helps to the marketing people in the company. So it's like there are all these kind of things that is like could help to you are bringing value to the company. That's is the result. So
and also I think I got a hack. I got a little hack, a growth hack for them, because try to think about how do you increase the value you deliver to the company. I'm going to work weekends for free? No, that's not what it is. It's not about you working more necessarily, because it's about you learning more. Because when you learn more, you learn new ways where you can increase your performance. And guess what? You can actually get the company to pay you to learn more.
Yeah.
Isn't that awesome? So maybe you should negotiate rather than negotiating your salary sometimes. Negotiate time to go to courses and even make them pay for the courses.
And usually companies see that as a value. If the company doesn't see like value to educate their own people.
So here's the funny thing. They'll pay you so that you go and learn more. And then you start applying that to your work and you deliver more value, and you can use that to negotiate your salary. That is the best hack, growth hack you're going to get today.
Yes. So ask for budget for developer. And some company have like, I know that many companies have budget for person in a company, like a developer, like, and then you can spend like to go a conference. You decide where you want to spend it. If you see like a course with Microsoft Azure or in AWS, like with Amazon, to learn more of that, or a course in React or a Vue.js, you decide. So you decide where you want to bring your career, and you show that it's like you spend the money in the right way.
Yeah.
And maybe it's like they see like so much progress that the next year the budget will be even bigger, because like I see like so much value. Okay, this person is like really bringing value with that little budget, that is like we increase it and we will make this person even more knowledgeable about.
I think it's like something. I mean, we've also been discussing not only negotiations for employment, so I think we've been touching into interviews and stuff. And like, if you interview for a company that first of all doesn't have a strategy for how they're going to teach employees new things, and secondly, they don't put value, or they don't appreciate that people have their own hobbies or pet projects. That's a big red alert right there.
Yeah.
You need to just finish the interview as quick as possible and leave.
So these are 2 points that you should touch in an interview, just to see like what's their point of view on that, because it's very important. Everyone has, mostly like developer, they have always pet project. They should not be like so big constrained. For of course there are like NDA, like non-competition clauses. I think they are fair. But it's like if they say like no, you can work on pet project, or you cannot do this kind of events, or you cannot grow like in doing this and that. It's just like they are.
And it's probably not even legal here in Norway as well if they say that.
No, but it's like not everyone that will watch this
me.
will be like from Norway. So, but it's good wherever you are now. That is like you are trying to think about these things also during the interview process.
I think there was a question in the beginning, like about. Let's
see. It was here.
Yeah, when you're in the interview and they ask you the salary expectations, and I agree. It's first of all, as someone about to like if I was interviewed, I didn't like that question, and I'm also sometimes uncomfortable asking that question when I'm hiring. Because you should first figure out whether you actually are someone that you want to hire, or if and then you should be thinking about salary. Sometimes it's good for the question is that can be good for the process. Because sometimes people have unreal salary expectations, or they might lie and put a really high number just in case, in case they get it, they might be fishing, and that sometimes helps us just say, look, you're expecting more than we are actually capable of paying. So if that's the case, let's just finish the conversation right now and not waste any more time.
Yes.
But what you can do in the interview is to say that if you don't want to answer, is simply to say, look, I'm not ready to answer that question until I have a better idea of the job and the responsibilities.
Exactly. Responsibility is a big thing. Because it's like maybe you need to manage some people, and that is like responsibility are paid.
Or you'll own a product or a process and things like that.
Yeah.
And also, you can say then that, okay, now after the interview you can say, now I'll know a little bit more and I can get back to you with a number, and then you can, instead of saying a number, you can give a range, which can give them a little bit more idea of where you want to be. But that doesn't mean that you're not allowed to negotiate your way out of that range once you get into the final discussions.
No, usually a recruiter, like a first level recruiter that asks that question, I always like avoid answering that, as you say, because I want to before understand. Also, it's like I want to understand if it's like it's a company that I want to work for them.
And if a recruiter comes to me and is like, "Oh, this developer, he fits really well, but he didn't tell me how much salary he wanted," I'll be like, "All right, let's meet him then. Let's just see if you think he's good, then I need to interview him, and if he's not a good fit after I interview him, where's your worry? Like, there's no worry.
Yeah, if he is someone who can easily change place wherever, but this is like that's always happened, Dimek. That's always happened that people leave for more money because like life change, and maybe like now you got a new kid in the house, and it's like you want a bigger house, and you want to, I don't know, then you want a house with a garden. Yeah. So it's like things change. So it's like people sometimes change for just money. You have like your motivation just for asking more money, so it's not bad.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And I think like situations change and things like that. But as a manager, I just know where my limit is, and I'll try to work within that limit. And of course, you're buying a service. So I will always try to get the best deal possible.
Yeah.
But at some point, I can't work with it anymore because the value you're giving isn't worth it for me, or I see that I can hire someone else to deliver the same value for a better price. You're selling your service, so it's competition. So if you enter a tough negotiation and you're not prepared to get no for an answer, then too bad. And that's why people leave, because there's even situations where people build up their expense levels to a level where they have to have more money.
Yeah, because you get more money, you want to spend more money.
Yeah, you move to a nicer place and you get a nicer car, and then you want to keep that stuff. And then there will be companies who will probably be willing to pay more. But I'm not necessarily willing to pay.
No. Let's go on. But what about early stage of a career path? I think early stage is very important. What Andreas say, just bring value.
Yeah.
I think you were an example. When you were learning footwear, trying to.
I went in low, to be honest, and I basically didn't have any credentials to show other than a few failed startups and some consultancy work. I didn't have a university degree and everything, and I just wanted to get in and learn. That was my main goal, and don't worry too much about money at that stage, because your growth, if you focus on learning and taking on new challenges and learning new things, your salary is most likely going to grow exponentially.
Yeah, absolutely. So early stage, focus on value. That's just don't even think about money.
No.
They're just
in software now we're so lucky. You get pulled out of university and you get paid more than a nurse that's been working for 30 years.
Yeah.
So first of all, a bit of gratitude. You're very lucky to be born with the capabilities you have to work in software, and you're very lucky to have been able to come to a position where you get to work in technology.
Yeah, working from an
Show
office.
some gratitude, and we're focused on the value. Don't worry too much about salary, because you probably won't even be staying in the company for very long, because when you're young you're still learning and changing a lot. So
yeah, absolutely. This is so good. I just had a discussion about this some weeks ago with my manager.
I wonder what we were talking about when she said that.
I think it's I don't know. But it's good luck with that. Yeah. I hope it's went well. Let's see, Dimek say yes, but it goes both ways. If they say they can afford my expectation, we are finished. And when I say my salary, I wait for offer for weekends.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah,
I agree, but it should not be the first choice. As you say, you can negotiate with the current employer. There is another question. It's I think they could make the fonts a bit bigger in
communication. Instagram. Yeah, this is just comments though, not questions. Here, my question about the early stage was about choosing what's more important for you. Sometimes I want to work for a cooler project. Yeah, and why do you want to work for a cooler project? It's because technology is awesome, right? And you want to play with it. Yeah. We all want to work for cool products. We all want to work for Facebook rather than...
and find a startup that is that is really growing fast, and they are showing traction, because there probably you will learn even faster, even better, than just a cooler project. So look for startups that are growing very fast, because they found traction, and it's when you find traction, things will move faster, and you will learn also the kind of speed in software development that is when you bring that to a new company, when you move to a new company, that is this is very valuable, because they will see immediately that you have that kind of mindset that will help everyone else in the company. I will frustrate other developers that go very slow and they don't like you, because...
Yeah, and your attitude is great, because you're very mature in how you're thinking. If you are someone who's just getting started with development, you're very mature, because I mean, most guys will just say, "Yeah, I just want to work and make some money on coding because coding is cool." But you're actually defining your own career rather than just getting a career, right? And you're already starting to think what is most important for you, and you're actually saying that, yeah, the challenges. I think what you're actually saying here is the challenges you have at work might be higher up on your list than the salary. Cool project means probably cool technology or cool product, but what's cool about it is that you get to learn a lot, right?
Yeah.
And then again, it just goes back to your why do you want to work for a cooler project? Because if it's because you want to work for Nike because Nike has a cooler brand, you're gonna just start working for Nike if you get in, and then you get bored with that after a little while.
Yeah.
So you're not going to be able to grow with that. But if you mean cooler project, as in you get to grow, you get to learn, you get to work with the best people, and that will make you better, then you're on target.
Yeah. And she confirmed that it's like challenges are what she's what they are looking for, and I think this is like is the best. I think it's like try to look for as I suggest, it's like if it's a startup, look for startups that are growing fast. There are like so many startups, but there are few that are getting traction and moving faster than others. If you can enter one of them, I think it would be super cool. I think it's like
2 minutes left.
2 minutes left.
That's perfect. We feel
that we are finished. But
was that a whole hour? Wow.
Yeah,
we need to stop talking so much.
Yeah, we talk too much. I'm Italian. I like to talk.
Actually, I don't like to talk, but when I'm on stage, I'm like, yeah, I'm on stage. I'm famous. We have 4 followers.
Yeah, woo. It's like this is a full stage. Thank you very much for the question. We will have like this every week. Like,
we'll try.
We will try to have like every week. I'm Italian too.
Okay.
Then you are the best.
He actually hates Italy.
No, it's not true. It's not true. I hate Norwegians saying these things around Italy, so he's Norwegian. We will have this like every week. He will be in Sydney, I will be in Oslo. But we will try to have like this live at least once a week. If we have a topic you are interested on.
Yes, topics. We need topics. You live in Germany. I'm actually half German. So she's Italian. Yeah. You're Italian. She's she's in Germany. I'm half German.
Yeah.
Best crowd ever.
Yeah. But it's like if you have any topic that you are interested to, even if you see this live after, just like leave it like in the comment, like on my feed or Newsy. So it's like we can take this topic every week. We don't know what will be the next topic, but will be around software development, hiring, recruiting, like leadership, discipline, or something others.
Yeah.
Is going to cut in 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6.
See you later, everyone. Thanks for following.
Bye.